Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Talmud Lunch and Learn, where we meet at the Torch Center every Friday afternoon at 12:30, at 12 o'clock, for an incredible and inspiring lesson in Talmud. We are studying the Tractate of Brachot. But before we begin that class, I wanted to share with our friends on Facebook a little idea on the day of the Omer that we are counting tonight, because we're not going to be recording a video tonight or tomorrow. So we're going to do it in advance. We're going to be one ahead of the game. And tonight is going to be the 18th of the Omer. So we're going to talk about, we've been doing this for the past 17 days. And what we're doing is sharing a lesson from the Mishnah of how to maximize life. And for those of you who remember, yesterday and 2 days ago, we discussed the ideas of limited and balanced concepts in Judaism. Things need to be balanced. The first we spoke about was business. Business needs to have balance. If business is great, it's an important thing for us to provide for our family, but if a person gets too lost in that business, in the pursuit of wealth or success in the realms of business, what can happen is that it'll come at the expense of something which is far more important, like family, like friends, like relationships, like marriage. So we have to be very careful that it should be in balance. The second thing we discussed was intimacy. Intimacy is very important, but it also has to be in balance. A person can't be indulged in the world of intimacy. The next thing is what we're discussing today, way number 18. And that is limited pleasure. Way number 18 is limited pleasure. Now, pleasure, we're in a world of pleasure. We're in a world that everybody's seeking one thing, pleasure. That's what everybody's running after. But what the Torah teaches us about pleasure is a very, very powerful thing. However, like everything powerful, there is a positive and a negative. The positive is if that pleasure is used to uplift. But if that pleasure is used to pull a person down, then it's no good pleasure. Now, our sages talk in great depths about counterfeit pleasures. There are pleasures that tear you apart, that don't leave you feeling wholesome, right? There are many people who we all know in our lives who feel that, heroin is very pleasurable. But we all know that although it may be pleasurable, the after effects are very, very damaging. Anybody who's an alcoholic knows that, right? Or anybody who knows an alcoholic knows that. So while they're drinking, they may be in a pleasurable, euphoric state, but that's not really a good, so that's a counterfeit pleasure. Now, if it has balance, then it can be very pleasurable and very uplifting as well. Everybody loves potato chips. I, as many of you know, have a weakness to barbecue potato chips. I love barbecue potato chips. There are a few, but not many barbecue potato chips in my life that I haven't loved. I love them all, okay? But we all know that if you get lost in that bag of potato chips, although every single bite is pleasurable, you're going to be sick to your stomach if you eat that whole bag. If you get lost in the chips, you lose it all. Right? All of that great pleasure is gone. And that's lesson number 18, is not getting lost in our pleasures. It's a good thing. It can inspire, it can infuse us with energy, but there has to be a balance. And we have to know that just because we love pleasure doesn't mean it's something we pursue senselessly. It has to be with a target, it has to be with a goal, with a purpose, with a balance. It must be with a balance. And that's what our sages are telling us. Yes, pleasure is a very important thing in life, but it has to be balanced. It has to be limited. All right? Not to the point where a person shouldn't have. On the contrary, all of what we're talking about in all of these 40 ways is maximizing pleasure, but maximizing authentic, real pleasure, not counterfeit, fake pleasure. So with that, my friends, thank you for joining us for this 18th way. And we look forward to sharing with you another whole bunch still before the end of the counting of the Omer. Have a lovely Shabbos. And you're all invited to join us next Friday right here at 12 o'clock with delicious lunch. Thank you, Ed. With delicious lunch for all of our participants and a great family environment here. So thank you so much. It's at the Torch Center. Thank you for joining us. Shabbat Shalom.